Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice having you here. We will be covering this match that covers the Alliance MAD and FBI. Match will start in 44 seconds. See how things are gonna go through. Three, two, one. Alright, let's go for Solar. Solar tends to be the one that is more efficient to fight for. Seems like FBI was faster. Which is a shame. I played with Mad before, and so I have high expectations of how they're gonna play for this, although I don't expect them to win. In terms of gameplay, I hope to see them fighting, giving them a good fight. Seems like FBI is going ultra aggressive for this. They're taking everything, however. Seems like Sandra was already burned, as well as Nick Tosek. They're going super hard on and fighting here in the solar power station fight. This looks like it's gonna be a bloodbath. Hello, YouTube for YouTube. Love the name. It's not a good move, I think. The fact that they're staying in two buildings, I believe it's a good move. That being said, the other two players alone on the other building, it's probably gonna get them burned and also get some of the other players as well. They're burned. Seems like some of the occupation times are starting to reset now. As they get solar power station, things are gonna get a little bit more rough in terms of occupation. And FBI is... Hello, King Pokemaster. How are you doing? FBI is destroying the match. They're going really hard and trying to burn all the players. Cardane is being hyper aggressive as he used to be in Val. This does not surprise me. I think Cardane is gonna... Yeah. This was usually Cardane's role in a lot of matches in Val. He's probably gonna be going around and trying to burn as many players as he can before the time is over. So this is one strategy that people go for and trying to burning smaller players. And if you have already someone assigned that is used to do things like that, like Cardane, they are super effective at doing that, while also keeping attention in how they can fight in other places as well. As you can see, Cardane is moving around on every single target that his seat is a P1, and going for the weakest players that they can. It is possible to defend against strategies like this, but it requires extreme coordinations and shot call with communication. And although FBI, most of the players are known for high-level play and coordinations in terms of the sport voice chat, my experience with the State 700 is that it is harder to pull off. Although players do play in a very efficient way, communications and the shot calls instantly is not something that usually is done. Usually due to the language barrier. Yeah, they are going extremely aggressive. As expected, I think all the players here basically were kicked off due to them being too far away from the others. There are 6 players here. Why are you here, Alexander? Makes no sense. Saying there are 7 players here. You are gonna try to kick someone out with a building that's less important? Be like Jane. Even though Dutch is probably too big for her, they are in the building that have less players. So Reaper started a rally against Lezard. Reaper trying to reinforce instead of actually just moving out. Let's see if Lezard teleports. Because if he stays there, even with Abu defending, I'm quite sure that he's gonna be burned. This is gonna be one of the most interesting moments, I think, to watch. Cardane is also starting a rally here, so there's gonna be 2 interesting rallies to watch. Let's see if Troll Bully is gonna burn Panda. I expect you, because it's only at P12. It did not. Relocation here. both from the player and a boo in case he needed to reinforce. Just gonna comment on the moves that people are doing for the skirmishes because this match is already decided from the beginning. FBI is basically the strongest alliance there is in the game right now, so seeing how people will react to basically being burned or attacked and the moves that they're gonna be pulling off, like reinforcements, I think is the most interesting thing to do. But hey, for those that wanted to see an FBI match, here you are. This was a bad relocation. The reason is that they relocated exactly at the same time, which is why they were burned. But yeah. Very rare to happen, but still it does. It's the barbecue party! Fire! This is what's gonna happen to every single troop in this fight. Seen a March hit here. It's actually ready trying to hit the building here in the bottom. Seems like a lot of players already pulled off and they're gonna stay behind the line. We still have bells here that haven't been burned yet. This is actually a good move to have two players with similar names. If they are also using the same skin, it's good for confusing the players. And Hippo bravely joined with a P5. That's a bold move. Let's see if it works out for Hippo. And they are holding well due to the reinforcements. For how long, we don't know. Burn, baby, burn! Some of the members are holding pretty well. I think it's due to some of the top players reinforcing them, which is good for points. Center opened like a minute ago. Seems like Abu was able to take a building for a few seconds there. It's good. A few more hits bounced off. Water puddles, some water puddles moves were good, like Sundra here, but overall, even in water puddles, FBI is overwhelming them a little bit. It's less of a difference, but they're still being more efficient. Considering that Mad has been under control and when they're gonna be popping off those shoe buildings, all the water puddles should have been gathered instantly. Especially due to water tanks not needing troops. Sorry, not tanks, water puddles. Next move would probably be this one to blow up. Things like Abu identified the same thing about the having less troops in there. If they keep moving this and pushing them around, they are probably gonna be able to snatch the Mito eventually, because a lot of the players are responding to the movements that they're doing. Granted that they are focused mostly in burning the players right now and they don't have the numbers to fight back, but they're setting a pretty decent pace. This was not a good choice from Z. I mean, Tankerl. Would have been much better to join Dutch in here, even though the Dutch has higher stats. Between him and Abu, they could probably kick him off and reset that building. Much better water puddle management right now. Reinforcements with 5 here. As they already started, I'd probably move to another building. So the most important buildings here that FBI is going to hold them really tight and would be actually an accomplishment if they were able to take off is the solar power station, treatment 1, center, treatment 2. Those buildings are the buildings that are strongest in terms of strategy, not only in points, in what you do in the game right now, in terms of strategy. So as those should be more tightly guarded, those ones are the ones that would be an accomplishment to be able to take from them. The majority of the strategy in evenly matches is to focus on those 4 buildings. The stronger you are, the more you spread out to the other buildings, but that's a rule of thumb, I would say. As they are still reinforcing this one, I wouldn't go for this building. But it might be able to try to push here with Abu as a distraction, while one of the top players can go through here. The problem is that Dutch is sitting in this building, so he can easily reinforce. Water tanks in 2 minutes. Let's see how water tanks are gonna show up on the map. Looks like Edie's nightmare is not gonna be a nightmare for long. It's just been burned. It's like a bad dream on fire. Cardane is doing what Cardane usually does best. And he bounced off the map. Dev Compound probably can be taken on here for a less amount of points. Probably really wants to rally Belzadar. It's like the 4th time he does it. Water tanks finally show up. Let's see all of them turn red. Let's see how long it will take Mad to notice that there's only Tylo in here, and if they can pop this building to get some water after water tanks. As I mentioned before, people don't realize that every single move in terms of the marks, like in 36, 26, 16, 45, people move around. So the second after you've done whatever you have to do, you instantly should be checking the map to see if any of the buildings are less fortified than they should be. Which is the case here right now. There are 3 buildings that can be easily reset. And we have the top player here fighting for a water tank. That wouldn't be a problem if there were not other buildings that could be popped off. And the longer the fight goes, the less troops and the less attention that Matt can push. So this is one of the opportunities that they have right now to get those water points back. We have one solo water tank here. Nice move pulling off to protect the few troops that Hell has. Hell's just relocated out of the rally. Seems like some players from Mad realized The thing is that they went from the worst of the three members, and Mad Dog was the only one that realized it seems. So they are gonna start getting reinforcements. Reinforcements should be speeding in as if someone else that is stronger actually go for it. But I do think that a few players will reinforce here, and as a consequence for that move, probably people are gonna start reinforcing the other buildings as well. Yep. Now they have 3 people win, they can't kick off this building anymore. Looks like Rebbe was finally burned. Only a few players now that haven't been able to be burned yet. Seems like Abu finally went for the building. I wonder if they are gonna realize and respond accordingly in terms of the other water puddles as well. Center is also starting to be weakened, but they do have reinforcements for the center. Great pot there and good relocations. This is putting a lot of attrition here. If the top players are smart, as most of the smaller players are in here, they'll go to the middle and push Alex off. Only one player is not gonna cut it though. And going with only one player is probably gonna get others reinforced at the moment. Alex just reinforced back again to make sure it was full of troops. Center now started to be reinforced. Hello, my friend from Kazakhstan. How are you doing today? We do have one brave water tanker here. That's just being burned. Fire! Fire! Panda's trying to push Tylo off. Will Panda be able to do it? There have been some even matches, team. Not all of them, but there has been a few even matches that I covered so far. So even if it is bad, maybe it's not as bad as people think. This was an unwinnable match from the beginning, so yeah. But there were quite a few matches that I covered that the matches could have been won, but one team played better than the other. And as one thing people don't realize in games like this is that every single move that you do snowball into other moves. So if you do a bad strategy or a bad move in the beginning, it can snowball into easily 100, 200,000 points difference later in the rest of the match. So while there are a lot of unbalanced matches, and I agree with you there, I'd say there are a lot less than people think. When I used to play more competitively the game, we would win matches that people would think that was unwinnable. Because the reality is, if you are up to 20% of power and difference, which is not the case here, you can still push through with good execution. The majority of people that play even at a high level do not have excellent execution and awareness plus communication, so it ends up affecting their performance in matches. I've seen, as an example, matches here in YouTube where people took like they had double rallies that would hit like 3-4 seconds apart. That's no. Because if you do a 3-4 seconds difference in a double rally, your enemy is gonna go full ultra instinct into you. Just like this. And just reinforce everything, and all your efforts with the double rally is gonna be gone. Looks like Hello YouTube is gonna get his 5 seconds of fame as people are trying to burn them. Matches bounce. Hey! Hello YouTube just had a cheers in chat. All I can say is that this is the effect that that Hello YouTube is gonna have during the match.
Emotional damage.
Because that's as far as they can get, at least at the moment. Oh, there's a whole one water tank here. There isn't anymore. Game is showing us there is. Oh, there is a back and forth here. Looks like Hello YouTube is getting a lot of attention, not only from the channel, but also from rallies. Hello YouTube is gladly listening. I think that is one of the reasons why there are a lot of unbalanced fights like this. They probably put some of the top alliances like with a huge difference from some of the other ones to fight in the final fights. Because I've seen previous events where you had like semifinals that looked like finals, and whoever would walk out of that would win anyway. The bad thing about that usually is the rewards and the fact that you also get the rankings permanently or in your alliance, like you were 4th instead of you being 2nd. But there are always ups and downs with every decision that you make in development, so I can understand why people are frustrated in how they're playing their matches as well. Nice water gathering here. I understand, especially as people are frustrated with the development choices and whatever they want to do. So, but let's not go into that topic, because every time that I open a stream, this is how I feel whenever people are talking about some of the developer decisions. So, yeah. But I'm glad that you're happy, Dina Maria. We have a brave blue tank here. I am gonna have a fire effect for further matches like this. There must be a fire effect for me to use on stream. Now we have another water tank. It seems they're able to push a few more tanks here. This is how you do it. You keep going for tanks that are weaker than you, and you pull off whenever someone is stronger than you, go for that. Even if you are a weak player, you can try doing that in places where people are weaker than you to try to squeeze a few more points. I've seen matches, not like this of course, right? I've seen matches be decided by a small amount of points where these kind of efforts, where people are actually trying and going through, made a whole difference. It's good to see that the morale is still going on, regardless of the difference in the match, and being an unwinnable wall. So kudos for them, I'd say. Last batch of water tanks. $17,000 difference in points. That's a lot. Oh, a clump of blues. In some cases, yes, but not always. I've seen quite a few matches decided in the last 10 minutes. The water puddles and flipping points makes a huge difference, which is why the meta of a lot of the top alliances, when the alliances are more evenly matched, is to only hold 3 buildings, hold them like your life depended on them, and leave the other ones alone, focus on the tanks, and then flip those final buildings, because almost half of the water that you get goes through the top of the building while you're controlling it. So flipping those, if you have good awareness and good coordination to get to the water puddles, gives you an insane amount of points to be able to turn matches. I've seen people turning over 200,000 points close to the end of the match just by doing that. People underestimate how much of a difference, depending on how the buildings are in points. Let me give you an example, because they held almost every single building for the whole match, right? So let's see how many points Mad would be able to take if they were able to coordinate and kick some of the other buildings. Let's do an exercise just to, as an experiment for that, right? So we have 15,000 here. So say 40,000. 2,000, 62, 62 plus 40, there's 100, 115, roughly 125,000 points, which you can double with that. So let's assume in a worst case scenario, like if FBI lost every single building once. I'm not talking about control, just if they made mistakes, left troops, or they were able to get them off guard and stuff like that. This difference that right now is of 475,000 points could be reduced if the other team is playing perfectly to a difference of less than 200,000 points. So that's how much of a difference you can make by popping buildings appropriately and having a good awareness and getting the water puddles. And here is something people don't realize. Holding a building gives you a disadvantage of when getting water puddles, because if you know the stats of the person that you are attacking and you know that you can double rally and stuff them, you can coordinate to tell them exactly when that's going to happen more easily. Especially because in some cases, you are going to go around buildings that have less players, like this one here or that one here, and you are gonna send some singles into them with a few players. I've seen that happen quite a lot of times. Because a lot of these buildings sometimes are unguarded, like this building with 2 people only. As I mentioned before, I don't think you were here, Dina, there are only 4 buildings that are really worth fighting for at a moment all the time. I think you were when I was talking about it. Solar, treatment, reservoir, and the other treatment. The reason for solar and why solar is the 4th most important building in the match is due to the occupation time, as that puts pressure in the other team to do a perfect rally. If they miss the perfect rally, yeah. Not necessarily, because both teams can be evenly matched and none of them can hold the building. I've seen matches where none of the teams got a full occupation up to the 18-20 minute mark. They were back and forth with rallies for almost 25 minutes. And that was more than once. Munition is one of the least relevant buildings, because you have to remember that the 15% buff is not multiplicative. At least it didn't used to be. Maybe they changed it, but hey. Strategy always depends on the type of enemies that you are fighting against. Hey John, how you doing? Might be his first match that I see over 600,000 points. Will they get 600,000 points? And looks like Lezard was finally burned. I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. Zababy, how are you doing, Zababy? Feel free to ask any questions, John, in chat. What would you like to know, John? Great as well. Sunday weekend, I'm here streaming for you guys, having some fun. So it seems like if none of the buildings pop, it is gonna be a 600,000 point match. Maybe even a 600,000 point gap. See? This is FBI against MAD. MAD from the state 700. FBI is against the state 487. Hey, no problems, baby. Feel free to ask any more questions you have. That one brave troop with tankers there. No problem. I'll be covering another match but it's gonna be from State 1000 in like 4 hours from now. Is it 4? No, it's 3. It is gonna be in YouTube again, so yeah. Yeah, there's a long way, John, from HK 80 to this. Are they gonna be able to blow up this one? This and the one next to this one are the best chances of them doing it. Yep, I expected someone to relocate here. Because people, as the rally goes, people are going to respond there. Good move, good reinforcement there to not get caught off guard. Hardin is not only a strong player, but he's very good at what he does. I'd say Cardin is one of the scariest player in the game, not necessarily the strongest because he knows how to use his power appropriately. Not all top players know how to effectively use their troops in a match that requires a lot of strategy and movement. I don't think that they're gonna be able to throw troops only with solos here and kick them off. I may be wrong, but let's see. Let's see. That's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for them. And the beginning is hard, John. Until you get used to it and learn everything about the game, it's a little bit hard to do so. I struggled a little bit when I started, but eventually you get the hang of it. Alright, that was pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time in 3 hours from